So just a few reminders, we are recording. Please keep yourself muted and there will be opportunities where you can unmute or use the chat box. Also, questions will be addressed at the end. And if you've joined us before, you know that a certificate is not immediate. That will be followed up with an email from Region 11 and you'll complete a survey and receive that. And the recording and resources will be emailed following the session. So most likely tomorrow, you will receive an email from me with resources from today. So also, if you want to share your learning from today, you can tag me. You can also tag Gabriel, who's with me today, as well as our bilingual ESL or Region 11 Twitter handles. So again, welcome. We are glad to see you. We know it has been a stressful start to the school year. Although we are not, sitting at a campus like you, we feel that stress. We feel, for you guys, and we hear from you often. And so just know that we are thinking about you and want to do what we can to support you. All right, so let's get going. Our motto when we started doing this was better together. It's hard to do this job alone as is, but particularly in the situation we are currently in, it's even harder for us to sit alone and try to do this. And so that's where these collaboratives came about, where we would join together and support each other. And so we're going to continue with that same, we is better than me and better is together, or better together. And so again, welcome to our Region 11 ESL Teacher Collaborative. I am Melanie Yoakum, and I am starting year 23 in education, and I've spent my entire career working with bilingual ESL students. I don't believe Elena is with us today, but you may know Elena from some of her literacy sessions, or if you've joined us before in one of our collaboratives. Elena is in a different area than Gabriel and I, but she is our kind of unofficial member of the team as she supports bilingual ESL instructional sessions, as well as a lot of literacy and the reading academies. So you'll notice that Elena will join us often and also does sessions for us. And I will allow Gabriel to introduce himself. And Gabriel's our newest team member. I'm so excited to have another person with me and no longer be that lone ranger trying to do it all. So I'll allow Gabriel to introduce himself.
Hello, everyone. Unless I am terribly mistaken, I have had sessions with all of you, so it is wonderful to see you again. I am Gabriel Verone. I have been serving bilingual students and families in education for 15 years. I was in K through 4 classrooms in both one-way and two-way dual language. I was an assistant principal, an instructional reading coach. Been here at the ESC just over a year. So happy to be on Melanie's team. We are the dynamic duo. I feel like maybe by this time next year, I will graduate from Robin to grown-up Robin, who is Nightwing. If you don't know who that is, you can Google it. But I'm so happy you guys are here. And Lord willing, next week, I'll be releasing my very first bilingual or English learner parent support newsletter. It's being approved right now. So be on the lookout for that, and we'll send that out to you all soon. So glad you're here. Looking forward to the collaboration, and thanks a lot.
Yes, thanks, Gabriel. Yes, as Gabriel mentioned, we will be releasing a parent newsletter sometime soon, and that'll go out on our social media, and then our district point of contacts will receive that as well. And that is something that we want you to be able just to flip around, where you don't have to do anything to it. You can just turn that around because as you guys know, that parent, community, and family engagement piece is a Title III requirement. And so you are required to provide activities at your district or your charter school. And so this could be another piece to add to that requirement. And as mentioned earlier, you can follow us at these Twitter handles, as well as our ESC Region 11 Bilingual ESL Twitter. And later on, we will share with you. We also have Facebook and YouTube as well, but those are our Twitter handles. So have you joined us before? In the chat box, just let us know. I know at least a few of you have joined us before in our collaboratives. I see a lot of familiar names, and just like Gabriel, I believe I've had all of you in sessions as well previously. So it's always good to see familiar faces and know that we're doing something right because you're coming back. So we're glad that you're here. Okay, yes. Thanks again for joining us. And I asked this just because we will kind of want to know who our audience is. We do have a small audience today, and so we already have relationships with all of you in some way, and so we know you. But often we can have hundreds of people in the collaboratives, and so we don't know whether or not you've been with us before. This is a document you've probably seen us share before, but I wanted to share this again because it should be that you want to share this out with someone else. But these are facts about Texas, and just a few reminders. We have a large population of ELs in Texas, and even reminding ourselves that 8% of those students are served in special education. And this year, that is something that we do at the Service Center want to focus more on in those other program areas, whether it be special ed, 504, dyslexia. How can we better support our ELs participating in those programs? And then you guys know we have a large population of Spanish speakers, but we actually do have over 120 languages spoken in Texas. And the other dominant language is Vietnamese in our area in Region 11. And I've mentioned this before, but Region 11 is number 4 in the state of Texas for the number of ELs participating in a bilingual or ESL program. We know there are more ELs than that, but this is the number that are actually participating in a program. And Spanish and Vietnamese are more dominant bilingual programs that we see. 87 out of our 94 district and charter schools serve English learners. As you can see, we go all the way up to the Oklahoma border and all the way down to Johnson, Erath County. And we have some tiny districts or charter schools out in those areas. And sometimes they don't have any English learners, believe it or not, or some maybe have one. And but you can see 87 out of 94 are actually serving English learners. This was the second fact sheet that TEA rolled out. And I wanted to share this with you because there's a lot of conversation right now with what is a pullout, ESL pullout program? What is an ESL content based program? You can see that the majority of the pie is actually ESL pullout. And what ESL pullout really means is the ELA teacher is the only one of the only teachers that is ESL certified. So your EL student, if it's just the ELA teacher and maybe the math teacher, but not all content teachers, they are considered ESL pullout. So we code them in PEAMS as such. And that can be confusing because we often think pullout, we think, oh, well, if we're talking about physically pulling a student out of the classroom. Yes, we do that too to provide extra support. But please know when you're looking at this graph and we're looking at pull out versus the content based at 14% means that all of that student or students, teachers on their schedule are all ESL certified. They're all of the content teachers are ESL certified. So that's the difference between ESL pullout and content based. Majority of districts and charter schools will have a mixture. So you will not have, very rarely will you see an entire district or charter school where they can truly say that their ELs or their ESL students are participating in a content based, because as we know, it's hard to get all of those teachers certified. These are the results of a survey that I sent out to our directors and coordinators in our LEAs, our local education agencies, which includes district and charter schools. This was sent out and I did receive 63 responses. Please know this is not, I would say 100% clean data because not everyone participated. And although it was communicated that only one person needed to complete it, I think we did have a few that multiple people in a district completed it. But as you can see, we've got 33%, which is at 52, or excuse me, 33 responded, which is at 52%, that their elementary was content based. At secondary, that went down to 12.7%. I don't think that will surprise any of us. And then pull out at elementary was at 15.9, and pull out at secondary jumped all the way up to 52.4. Again, that's going back to pull out, meaning only the ELA teacher is certified, and maybe math, science, or social studies, but not all of the content teachers. And then as you can see, 44% have a mixture, and that's really what you will see out probably across the state of Texas is you'll see a mixture. So, in thinking about what do you need to know as an ESL certified teacher, or if you're joining us today and you're not ESL certified, what would you need to know? And I share this with you, or we share this with you, because you may be coming as an expert or someone who is supporting at the district level or the campus level. And so, we really want to prepare you with how do you help your colleagues or prepare yourself when you think about what do I need to know as an ESL certified teacher? The very first thing is if you are ESL certified, you are the ESL teacher providing services. It could be very confusing and almost a misconception because if you are lucky enough to be in a district or charter school where there is an ESL teacher that maybe pushes in or pulls out students, that teacher, even if they are ESL certified, they see that other teacher as they're the ESL teacher. It's not my responsibility. That teacher is taking care of it. But that's not the case. If you are ESL certified, you actually are providing ESL services to the students, and so just something to communicate with your colleagues when you're talking to them is, if you're ESL certified, you are the ESL teacher providing services, and that would mean that if I was certified, the math and science, we're all the ESL teachers of that student. And quite honestly, even without the certification, we are ESL teachers because we are teaching English. That certification is just a piece of paper, but something to share with your colleagues. This is a nice document that TEA has come out with that is a checklist for teachers in the EL program implementation. And it takes you through, the model design, staff development, instructional design, methods and resources, and family and community engagement. As you look through this list, there may be things that you think, what, that's not my role, and it may not be. But there's someone that will be in charge of that. But I would encourage you to take a look at this. We will send this after the session, and you have the QR code here. But I would encourage you to take a look at this and think, am I currently doing these things? Are these things I need to share out with teachers? Do my administrators need to know about this? This is just one of 3 checklists. There's a checklist for an ESL, there's a checklist for the district administrator, the campus administrator, and then the teacher. And so I wanted to share this because this is a great resource for you to kind of share with other colleagues or just for yourself to have knowledge. The second thing, it's very important to target the ELPS in all content areas. That's your English language proficiency standards. And I have a clip right here. It's hyperlinked when you receive the presentation. So you'll have that accessible, but is really sending out to that message and helping your colleagues be aware of these are to be embedded in every content. It's not just an ELA, it's not just the ESL teacher pulling the student in small groups. And when you take a look at the ELPS, these are standards that all students need. Our students all need to develop in language. And so really being intentional about that. And so pushing that awareness of including the ELPS in all content areas. And the biggest piece is we cannot expect students to improve in reading and writing and speaking if they're not reading, writing and speaking in every classroom and every day. Excuse me, that's a lot to say. So if they are not reading, writing, and speaking in every classroom every day, it's very, very important. We cannot depend on the ELA teacher to do all the work. That is not he or she's sole role. It's all of our roles. We're in it together. And so we have to remember when we're upset with our TELPAS scores, or not making progress, students are not moving up a level in proficiency, we have to go back to looking at, are we actually practicing these areas? And is it just an ELA or with the ESL teacher, or are we across the campus incorporating ways to practice listening, reading, writing, and speaking? The third piece is using your proficiency level descriptors as a year-long tool. It's not just when it's TELPAS time. we're going to pull those out, and we need to make sure that we know what to rate. That's not really what it's meant to be for. This is an example of just the listening. We have listening, speaking, reading, and writing. Remember, the reading does have the differences in grade levels, and so it has the primary as well as the other upper grades. But we have to take a look at this and use it all year long to drive our instruction. And so taking a look at what is my beginner, what would they be expected to do right now? Where do they need to go? We need to push them up a level so I can look and see, oh, well, they should be able to do these things. And if that's what they're supposed to be doing, I need to make sure we're practicing and getting there. And so I would encourage you, if I'm just preaching to the choir because you already know these things, then I would encourage you to share this with your colleagues or your leadership, so they understand that in order for our students to be successful in acquiring English proficiency and advancing in TELPAS, we need to be utilizing the PLDs as a year-long tool to support and drive our instruction. And then when it's time to rate, it's not a big deal. We've been using it all year long, and we know where our students are. And the challenge that we have for you is intentional planning to address the ELPs. Really looking at what you have planned, or if you were designing curriculum or you're supporting teachers, is that being that awareness and reminding our teachers or curriculum writers, being mindful of, are we intentional about addressing the ELPs or in language proficiency? Are we looking at that, or is it just a side note? Most often, particularly our students that participate in other programs, the EL part, when they're dually coded, is they ignore the EL part, and they focus so heavily on the disability or the other need, that becomes a challenge, because then those students don't make progress in proficiency. So if you are someone who has that influence, you are working with other programs, or you are working with curriculum people in your district, or you're a team lead on your campus, whatever your role may be, we would encourage you to really be intentional about incorporating and addressing the ELPs. This is a Google site that was built a few years ago for a session that I do on language rich classrooms. So I would encourage you to take a look at that. There are best practices and strategies, teaching ELs, newcomers, helpful tools and websites. This is a living document, and quite honestly, it has been a while since it was designed. So there may be some things that we need to go in and update, but I would encourage you to take a look at what we have so far. You are welcome to share this out with colleagues, in your district or charter school. There's a QR code there. However, I will send the link in the follow-up email, but this is just another place that you can go and get resources or ideas and better support not only your students, but the teachers that you may be supporting. This is our ongoing English Learner resource site that we promote in all of our sessions. And again, it's the same thing. It's a living document, but there are resources for listening, speaking, reading, writing, and then vocabulary, lots of different things. This one, we want you to share out. Please share out with your teachers, share out with families, because there are opportunities for students to get on here and practice. It's not just for teachers. There are resources on there that students can get on, and there is a disclaimer that we try our best to make sure all links are working, but please feel free to share this out. All right, so now we want to hear from you. We want to know what topics you would like featured, and we hope that you can use your phone. And I'll also put the link in the chat box, so if you want to follow it that way. So I'm going to minimize here just in a second and put it in the chat box. Or you can use your phone, and if you have an iPhone, I use my camera part, and it'll actually, when I use it and put it over the QR code, it'll take me to that site. But we want you to use Answer Garden so we can capture what are the topics you would like to see featured in our next few, or this year, our collaboratives. So I'm going to minimize real quick, and I'm going to take our link to Answer Garden so you can follow it that way if you do not want to use the QR code. And then I'm going to take us to Answer Garden as well, so we can see the results. And we will make sure we get a picture of that so we capture your responses. Okay, so we have the link in the chat box. If you will follow that, then that will take you to Answer Garden. And if you will enter the topics, as many as you want that you would like to see presented in our sessions, then we will capture those and look forward to sharing those topics in our future sessions. So I'm going to give you a moment to do that. So I'm going to just keep refreshing. So in case I have missed someone entering. Okay, so we have one. Thank you for entering that. So lesson plans and ELPs. These topics also will be something for us to consider in future sessions. It's not just about our collaboratives, but maybe between myself and Gabriel, we can take a look at what topics you're wanting to know more about, and we can look forward to potentially offering sessions outside of our collaboratives. Okay, so secondary, engaging ELs online. Okay. Continue to add any that you think about.
And I'm sure that Melanie will address this at the end if I remember the slide deck correctly. But in terms of engaging ELs online, not to hype my own sessions, but I am offering throughout the rest of this month into November and also in December, ways to deal with academic vocabulary, face-to-face or online. And we're looking at one high leverage strategy and then one digital tool to kind of pair them. So if you are looking for ideas on how to, use those high leverage best practices for English learners drawn from the ELPs, feel free to check out those sessions.
Thank you, Gabriel. Yes, we have sessions that are geared towards teachers. And as Gabriel mentioned, any of the sessions we're doing with our current state of affairs is, incorporating ways to address, online learning for our ELs. Here, the hard part is this is new for everybody, right? So when we come and we share things with you, we can't say we're experts at it because we haven't done it. We both were in the classroom and taught, but we're all in this boat as far as what does it mean to teach remotely. The nice thing is that with Gabriel and I, we've done session teaching teachers, right? It's not so much different from teaching students. And so we do come with that experience of what we've made work with our sessions going from face to face to online. But we're all in this together as far as what does that look like? And unfortunately, there's no magic wand to wave and be able to give you the right answer. So it's just kind of trial and error. But I'm going to take a real quick picture of our feedback because I want to be able to. And if you're still entering, go ahead. I will keep refreshing and I'll go back and look later, but I'm going to take a picture real quick because I want to be able to capture this so we know what you are needing. So I'm seeing secondary, engaging ELs online, scope and sequencing, refugees, and connecting to parents, newcomer support, language objectives, ELPs, lesson plans. Okay, awesome. And again, continue to put those in and go back and take a look to see if anything else has been entered. I'll look one more time. Okay, family involvement. All right, awesome. All right, thank you for going there and sharing your ideas. We really, we want to meet our customers and what they need, and so we appreciate you sharing your feedback. Now, before we get to our feedback just from today, and that's for us knowing how we need to refine our collaboratives, I'm going to go back here because we want to know what questions you may have. So we built today where there was enough time where we could stop and you can unmute yourself or use the chat box to ask questions that we could be able to support you with. So I'm going to stop. And if you would like to unmute yourself and ask us a question, then we want to have that time to answer any questions that you may have.
I have a question.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
You're
Because
welcome.
this was one that, I grappled with just before leaving school. And that's one of the things, is a newcomer expectation. Exactly what do we expect of a newcomer? So we have a course, and I'll just speak specifically to our situation, that is mandatory for the students. So the course involves reading through a particular novel. We do not provide it in any other language except English. It's very involved, lots of, inferences and, all those things for the students to be able to understand. How is this? How is a newcomer? What exactly would be the expectation in this case? It's a graded class. So how should I handle that?
Is this a novel that you can get in an adaptive version?
I tried doing the full movie, showing it for them so that at least they could watch it. But then when they have the work study and the worksheets to complete, and their homework and stuff for them to do, you know, 17 pages, 17 chapters in a book, really it's daunting.
So the teacher's required to accommodate for the student. They're required to scaffold and accommodate. And that may mean that that student's not doing exactly what everybody else is doing. That may mean that that student's not reading the same book as everyone else. If you're able to find a book that's adapted, they're, not knowing what the book is, but often you can find the book in different levels. Or really, the goal is teaching the skills. You can teach skills through any book. So what is the objective of this unit that you're doing? That's the goal. It's not a book, it's the skill. And so really looking at what are the objectives, what's the skill being taught. It may mean that we need to teach that skill using a more simplified version or a whole different book, and that is acceptable. So that's hard. And I know you're coming from a charter school, and so sometimes things are a little bit different. And Pam, we can always have an outside conversation, if you want to call me and talk about it. But in the end, the teacher is required to accommodate. However, they need to make the content comprehensible for that student by whatever means, they can. And again, it may mean that the student does something different, but they're still teaching them that skill.
Thank you so much. You really did answer that question, because as I was driving home, I was thinking about it too. And what I was thinking is, what exactly do we want to accomplish? What is the skill? What exactly do we want? Can we do it in another way that the student can understand in their language? And it's not just one. We have enrolled students from a particular country, and it's not Spanish.
Yeah.
Do not provide the material in that particular language, but I'll take it offline. But thank you so much. That makes me feel good, because now I know I'm thinking in the right direction.
Yes. And we don't always want to, especially, is this secondary, Pam?
Actually, it's the entire district. So this particular course is not the same book, but it's required right throughout the district. Yes.
Okay. So the reason I ask is, we have to remember that, yes, we want to utilize that L1, that first language. But at some point we can't completely depend on that, right? I mean,
Right.
we want to scaffold and we want to accommodate. And when we can, we want to give them support in that first language. But it's not always possible. I've come across languages when I was still in district that didn't even have a written language. It was only oral. And so you have to be cognizant of that. So, but yes, we can talk later about that.
Okay, great. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Any other questions from you guys? Okay, awesome. If you have one, don't hesitate to go ahead and unmute yourself or use the chat box. All right, so our feedback for today, it's kind of, if you've been with us before, I use pretty much the same one because I really just want to know what we're providing for you. Is it going to meet your needs? Do you find what we're doing impactful? Do you feel better each time you come and see us than when maybe you arrive? Do you leave feeling more positive? Do you leave feeling like, okay, I'm moving up a level? I'm no longer just a beginner. I'm moving up, and so that's what we hope. So we like to go back and look at this this data and see where we can refine what we're doing to support you. So we appreciate you answering our poll because we do look at it, and it is documented. We keep track of what's happening. We have about half of you that have voted. So I'm going to wait a little bit longer. Okay. All right. Thanks, guys. So it looks like most of you are feeling, pretty good about what was shared and its impact. So we hope that we can continue that. So as we've mentioned, we do have lots of upcoming sessions. Gabriel has these two flyers that we have been promoting. A lot of these sessions have already happened, but as you can see, he still has some left. Our academic vocabulary session, he's got one November 3rd and 9th. And then it's a little more full on the other side with our continuation of the series, lots more in November and December. So we hope that you will register and join. That QR code, if you follow that, it takes you to our main EL support page. But if you scroll down on that main page, it will have a little part where you can check it or click it, and it'll take you to all of our it'll drop down and show you all of our different series, and you can click there and find out more information. Or you can, once you know the name of what you want to go to, you can follow the ESC Regional 11 site, the link, and go to registration, find that session and register for it. But lots of sessions that are we're trying to accommodate for you guys as far as school goes, making them later, that so that you can come. So those are great sessions. We hope that you sign up for. Elena has a biliteracy series that's going on. She still has some left. Looks like her planning comprehensive lessons for biliterate outcomes. She has one at the end of October and then another one in November. And so you can see she has quite a few actually in November. I didn't see that, her whole series. So check that out. Also, I have a series going on, or a group of sessions for our administrators and program leaders. Just did Luke 4s in a classroom with English learners for administrators last week, but we have some more upcoming sessions. If your role is to support teachers, even though you may not be an administrator or may not be the program leader, you are still welcome to join, because we do have some of you that wear many hats. You may be the classroom teacher, but you may be the bilingual ESL lead or the ESL lead for the whole district, even though you're in the classroom as well. And so we welcome you as well. So we do have all those sessions coming up. And then this is our s'more. You've probably seen us promote this before. This has our entire list of what we currently will be offering for 2021. Right now, we just have fall. We really were kind of waiting to see what was going to happen with our school year. And it looks like we'll continue into a virtual world in the spring. We don't always offer a whole lot in the spring, only because you guys know how busy it gets with STAR and TELPAS, and we tend to have very low attendance. And so I don't foresee us having as many sessions to offer as we did in the fall. We will offer some, and then you'll see a lot in the summer, like we did this summer. A lot of bite size, 1 hour to 2 hour. Nothing. I don't see us going back to the long 6 hour sessions. So this will be kind of where we go continue to do. So feel free to look at that. Our next collaborative will be in February. And I know that if you've been with us this whole time, we started in April, and we did one every month, but we just don't really have the audience right now. And as you see, there are very few people on here today compared to hundreds that we had in the springtime, and then even in the summer. It did kind of the attendance did get lower. And so we decided that we would not do the monthly, that we would try to do 2 in the fall and 2 in the spring. And we considered that very end of July one is one of our fall sessions. So we'll have another one in February. And you can see that our bilingual collaborative will be early February. They are 3:45 to 4:45 via Zoom. We will record it. As you know, if you've been with me before or been with Gabriel, you know that we will send you the resources afterwards. And then we'll look to set another date for our final 2021 collaborative. And then we'll look towards scheduling some in the summer, because we know that you guys have more time than what you do right now. And so we will look to continue to do a June and July session. And that way we can gather, and help you guys. This is our contact information, as well as there's a QR code and a hyperlink. When you get this, you'll be able to go there to sign up for our newsletters. We have our EL Leader Toolkit. If you are involved in compliance, those are monthly need to knows. And then the Succeeding in a Diverse Classroom, I think many of you already follow that one. And then Gabriel has now released his Bilingual Professional Learning s'more. And so if you're not a part of that, you can follow that QR code, or when you receive this presentation, you can follow the link, and you can sign up for all or 1 or 2, whichever ones you want to, but it'll take you to our page where you can sign up yourself. So you no longer need to email me, and you can share this out with your colleagues and say, hey, sign up. And that way it'll go straight to their inbox. Or if you don't want to get it in your inbox, you can follow us on social media and on our EL Support Facebook page. We post them there. If you follow our Twitter page for English Learner Support, we also put them there. And then you will find today's recording, as well as recordings of all of our sessions we've been doing since the spring, mine and Gabriel's. You will find those sessions on YouTube. We have put those there. We want you to share those, or if you want to go back and watch them. We also have lots of other things on the YouTube channel, things for parents. I found videos where books are being read in Spanish or other languages. And so we have lots of things there that can support you with remote learning, technology. So go check out our playlist, and you'll be able to find lots there. Also, when you receive this presentation, these little cursors or the image, you'll be able to click that. This one takes you to TEA's EL support page with lots of great resources on there, including the fact sheets that I shared, including the ESL teacher checklist that I shared, lots of good information. If you are the ESL point of contact in your district, you're the one doing LPACs, or kind of that main lead, I would encourage you to bookmark that site so you have it there. The Region 11 support, that's our EL support site. Again, lots of resources there. We connected out to TEAs, but you'll find great resources to support you. And then finally, the at-home support. So that all came about when we shut down, and really worked to find ways that you can support parents and students if they are at home. Those are still there, though. Even if you have students back in the classroom, when you're looking at your newcomers, this is a great place to go and look to see what are some ways that we can be instructing students in the classroom. So lots of good resources there as well. And you see my information, Gabriel's, as well as Elena's. And so, we want you to reach out to us if you need anything. And here in just a bit, I'm going to stop the recording and really just open up the mic to see if anybody else has any additional thoughts, comments, or questions. Okay. But again, Gabriel and I are we're ecstatic that you would come and join us again. And we hope to see you in our sessions we have coming up, and we hope to see you in February. And we will take a look at all of those suggestions that you gave us and look towards planning our sessions or our sessions and our collaborative that really focus on those topics that you've shared with us. But again, thank you. And we hope that we see you again. But if we don't until February, we hope that you have, safe and enjoyable holidays. We have holidays coming up. Believe it or not, it's just around the corner. And so we hope that you do enjoy your time, well-deserved time off and with your loved ones. So again, thank you.